It's playoff time. We'll preview all 8 first-round series. The regular season ends and the changes begin. And it's individual award time. We'll cover them all. Time to drop the puck on the best 2 months of the season right now on ECHL Week.
Hi, welcome to another edition of ECHL Week. We're in Worcester, Massachusetts today to wrap up the regular season and look ahead to the 2018 Kelly Cup playoffs. The 972 games of the regular season are done, and it's time for the Kelly Cup playoffs. 16 teams have qualified for the postseason party, so let's take a look at the first round matchups. In the South Division, Florida, which won the Brabham Cup as the regular season points champion, has a date with 4th-seeded Atlanta. There's no first-round pairing, which had a wider gap in the regular season standings than these two. But don't let that fool you. Atlanta coach Chuck Weber won a Coach of the Year award in helping Cincinnati claim the Kelly Cup 10 years ago, and the Glads have talent, including 32-goal scorer Phil Lane. Florida Associate Head Coach Tad O'Head discusses this matchup.
With Atlanta, they've really begun to add to their team. They've got a couple guys coming back from injury. They'll get some guys back from the AHL, and they're a strong team. We've had success against them during this year, but it starts 0-0 now. And so what we need to do is we need to defensively play our game. We need to play a structured game. We need to make sure that we're able to drive the net, generate offense on them, but really dictate our style of the play. That's going to be first and foremost.
The other South Division contest pits the top defensive club in the league, South Carolina, against Orlando, which had 3 50-point forwards during the season, as many as the Rays. Generally, playoff series are low-scoring and physical. This tussle should be an excellent example of both. Keep this in mind. In the regular season, the Stingrays allowed just 27 power play goals, and while they were shorthanded, they scored 12 times. In the Mountain Division, defending Kelly Cup champion Colorado will start the playoffs, facing off against a team making its first ECHL postseason appearance, the Wichita Thunder. Led by the league's only 40-goal scorer, Michael Jolie, the Eagles have lots of weapons. 12 players reached double figures in goals, and they play it rough as well. They were second in the league in penalty minutes. The Thunder will rely on ECHL All-Star goaltender Shane Starrett, who is streaky during the season, but along the way turned in some outstanding performances. Mountain Division second seed Idaho will have its hands full with the Allen Americans, who have Kelly Cups from 2015 and 16 in their trophy case. As much as any series, goaltending will be the key in this one. The Steelheads have experienced Philippe Desrossiers to go along with Thomas Scholl, who, after coming to the ECHL in February, had outstanding numbers and didn't lose a game in regulation time in 19 appearances with Adirondack and Idaho. Jake Patterson has given Allen a veteran presence in the net that the team has lacked for most of the season. He had 34 wins a season ago with Toledo and has 12 Kelly Cup playoff games on his resume.
A new team gets a new NHL partner, and another team is looking for a coach. Details next on ECHL Week.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Regardless of whether it's the end of the regular season or the beginning of the playoffs, there's still lots of news going on around the ECHL. Let's check it out. The Maine Mariners, who will begin play in October, have taken a stride toward putting a team on the ice by announcing a player development agreement with the NHL's New York Rangers and the Hartford Wolfpack of the American Hockey League. Said Danny Briere, Maine Mariners Vice President of Hockey Operations, myself and Coach Riley Armstrong are looking forward to working with the Rangers staff and not only putting a great team on the ice here in Maine, but building future Rangers players for years to come. The Mariners declined to elaborate on the length of the deal. New York had been a partner with Greenville for the last 8 seasons. As far as the Swamp Rabbits are concerned, team president and CEO Steve Donner said, "This is a mutual decision for us and New York. We have both made the decision to go in a different direction and seek a more regional partner." The Wheeling Nailers have announced that head coach Jeff Christian's contract has not been renewed and he will not return. Christian served as head coach of the Nailers for 2 seasons after joining the organization as an assistant coach in January of 2016. Wheeling compiled a 69, 58, and 17 record in 2 seasons under his guidance, missing the playoffs both years. As we continue our playoff preview, we turn next to the North Division, where Adirondack, which won the regular season title for the 2nd straight year, will be going up against Worcester, which qualified for the playoffs in its first season. The Thunder have a balanced attack, had the best power play in the Eastern Conference of teams in the playoffs, experience, and solid goaltending. Worcester was last in the league during the regular season in goals scored, but that might not be a big issue considering the defensive nature of the playoffs. On the flip side, the Railers were 5th overall and 1st in the North Division in goals allowed. The other North matchup features Manchester and Reading, perhaps the most evenly matched teams in the first round. Not many teams can boast of having 5 20-goal scorers, but the Monarchs can. A 7th best in the ECHL power play can also do damage. For the Royals, Matt Willows finished the regular season as one of the hottest players in the league with 15 points in his last 14 games. Reading goaltender John Muse, who played in 15 American League games this year and was on Florida's Kelly Cup champion team in 2012, knows what's involved in a long playoff run. The Monarchs will counter with Charles Williams, who appeared in 42 games with solid numbers during his rookie season for Manchester. The Monarchs also feature 6 players with more than 20 pro playoff games played. An impressive array of talent is recognized in the ECHL's 2017-18 individual awards. Here's the rundown. The 2017-18 scoring race was tight and balanced. Sean Sidlowski of Fort Wayne ended up on top of the heap with the lowest points total to top the ECHL in the 30-year history of the league, a testament to an emphasis on more quality defensive work. Logan Rowe of Florida earned the award for top plus-minus rating. His plus 43 placed him 4 ahead of second-place Sidlowski. He was the only player to be over plus 40. Justin Danforth of Cincinnati was named the Daly Trophy winner as the Rookie of the Year. Danforth, who was named to the ECHL's All-Rookie team and also was on the All-League second team, finished 3rd among rookies with 28 goals and 59 points, despite being recalled to the American Hockey League in mid-February. He also represented the Cyclones at the All-Star Classic, where he won the fastest skater competition with a record time. Florida's Brad Ralph has been named the winner of the John Brophy Award as the ECHL Coach of the Year. Ralph led the Everblades to a 53-13-6 record, their 3rd South Division title in the last 4 seasons, and the club's 3rd Brabham Cup. The Everblades' 112 points set a club record, while the 53 wins tied the most in team history. The Blades were 26-7-3 on the road, tying the ECHL record for the most road wins in one season. The Colorado Eagles' Matt Register is the ECHL's Defenseman of the Year for the 3rd time and the 2nd consecutive season. A member of this season's ECHL first team, he led all Blue Liners with 65 points and 48 assists. He's been part of the last 2 Kelly Cup championship teams, and last season became the first defenseman in league history to be named Most Valuable Player of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Parker Milner of South Carolina has been named as the ECHL Goaltender of the Year. The Pittsburgh native has 5 ECHL seasons under his belt, but this one was his best. His goals against average of 1.86 was the 4th best in league history, and he teamed with Jeff Jakitis to help the Stingrays set the league record for fewest goals allowed and the lowest goals against average in one season. And the Comets' Sean Sidlowski has been named as the league's most valuable player, one of the team's alternate captains. This was the 3rd time he scored more than 70 points in an ECHL season. He's played with the K's for 5 years, and he's averaged over a point per game in the last 4. He's the first Comet to win an ECHL MVP award.
We'll preview the Central Division first-round playoff series when ECHL week continues.
The ECHL season is here, and ECHL TV is your ticket to all the action. With streaming to your PC, phone, tablet, and now Apple TV, Chromecast, and Amazon Fire TV, you'll never miss a moment of the action. Plus, you can watch up to 4 games at once on PC with Quad View. Watch live or on demand with both home and away commentary. Single game, multi-game, and season passes are available. Visit ECHL.tv to subscribe.
Hi, I'm Valerie Persinger of the ECHL, and you can find us on Instagram at ECHL Hockey.
We wrap up our Kelly Cup playoff preview with the Central Division. What figures to be one of the most hotly contested first-round matchups pits second-seeded Fort Wayne against number 3 Cincinnati. The Cyclones are getting a number of players back from the American League who may make a difference for the playoffs, including goaltender Jason Kasdorf. Also, the Cyclones were second in the league on the power play this season, but second last in penalty killing. On the Comets side, in addition to league-leading scorer and MVP Sean Sadowski, Gabriel Desjardins scored 33 times and Garrett Thompson added 29. In the regular season, the Comets scored 74 more goals than they allowed, the Cyclones 6. The other series in the Central features regular season division champ Toledo, which has made the conference finals 2 of the last 3 years, taking on the Indy Fuel, making its playoff debut. The Walleye had 14 more wins during the season than the Fuel, but look for special teams to be especially key in this series. The Fuel were best in the league on the power play. The Walleye were second best on the penalty kill. Indy's been streaky this season. They entered the playoffs on a 9-2-3 run. They won't have much margin for error against Toledo. On the Walleye's playoff roster of 18 skaters, all of them were plus during the season. That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week from Worcester, Massachusetts. Wraps up the regular season as well. Make sure to follow everything that's going on at the ECHL by following us on all our social media channels. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the wrap-up of the first round of the Kelly Cup playoffs.